First and foremost, my heart goes out to everybody that was impacted by Loot Crate's layoffs because I am sure they were hardworking, intelligent people working at this company. As somebody who's been laid off, it sucks and I feel bad for you guys. But I'm not doing this video as a pity party for those who got laid off. I'm doing this as a PSA to all of these companies out there who expand way too fast and just don't seem to have the small things figured out before they move on to the big things. Now, I was personally impacted by this Loot Crate thing because I still am waiting for my sixth and final Halo Legendary Crate. And I knew something was wrong with Loot Crate for the past few months, really actually this year, as every crate that I got was getting later and later. And whether you like the contents of each crate or not, that is open to discussion. That is purely subjective. But I can tell you guys that in terms of customer service and support, it was very clear to me that Loot Crate was slowly losing grip on getting things out in a timely manner. Because the truth is, we pay a lot of money to get these kind of crates. And Halo Legendary Crate for the entire year was 240 bucks, I want to say. Maybe there's a discount if you buy them all in bulk. You got a gold pin with it, which I wanted the pin, so I paid up front. But that's a lot of money to be throwing around to not get really, really good customer service. And Loot Crate is by no means a non-household name, at least in the video game world. So what I wanted to show you guys here was the Pick a Crate, this is from their official website. Look at the amount of crates that these guys were trying to juggle. You have your regular Loot Crate, your DX, LootWare, Loot Anime, Loot Fright, Loot Sci-Fi, Loot Remix. Then you had individual crates of Rick and Morty, Hello Kitty, Deadpool, Marvel, Halo, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Loot, Gaming, Equip, Batman, Marvel. These are one-off crates. Adult Swim, Lord of the Rings. And if I hit shop all crates, there's actually more, believe it or not. This is just ridiculous. There's no way a company could manage this kind of volume with any decent quality control. And I think that's what we're seeing here. I think that's what happened. I really relate this to Telltale, of a game company, in that case, that got too big too quickly. I totally think Loot Crate was one of those things. And I can imagine, some executives are on the phone calls with these people saying, hey, I represent Deadpool. Hey, I represent Fallout. Look, Loot Crate is a real big deal right now. We want you guys to make a crate for us. You clearly have a pretty good fan base. Your fans that like it are basically giving you free promotions during these big unboxing videos. This is something that I have done personally in the past. And look, this is a home run for us. And if I was working at Loot Crate in charge of new accounts, I would say, absolutely, yes, come. We will take your money. We want your money. We will make you a crate. We will get your name out there. These are hot things going on right now. And just look at the amount of stuff that these guys have started pumping out. Now, you could argue again if you think the quality is good or not. That is totally subjective. I would say that some of the later crates definitely didn't seem to have the TLC that the early ones did, but I always found an item or two or a shirt or something inside each and every box that I got that made me happy, and I was like, oh, it's not too bad. But definitely over time, the sheer excitement of what's next definitely faded. And it made it less special when you saw just the sheer amount of crates that were being just spewed out. And it's unfortunate that the people who were running Loot Crate didn't just start saying no to some of these people. Say, you know what? We don't want to get your business right now. And look, we're appreciative of that. But you know what? Supply versus demand. And if we're giving a crate to everybody, right? Then that means that we're probably not doing a very good job, and we're not taking the time that we need to kind of, curate and get more detailed boxes. And the specialty crates that they did have towards the end were definitely, I think, it was a good idea in the sense that they kind of pumped the brakes and said, okay, we're going to make a special crate just for, let's look at this Batman one. We're going to do this. We're going to tell you, certain things you're going to get. And this isn't a monthly thing. This is a one-off. And we'll tease you with a couple items. So here they say, look, it's going to cost you $80. and we're going to give you something. You're definitely going to get yourself a 5 items. It's going to have some apparel in it for sure, with some collectibles. You can add a jacket to get this like premium crate. So they kind of like guaranteed that you were going to get certain things instead of just a total grab bag. Well, I don't know if anybody's going to get this. I mean, I assume that the whole company is just completely defunct. I know that they laid people off and there's half people left and they're trying to work out a Chapter 11 filing. But let's be honest, I doubt I'll ever get my last Halo Legendary crate. If I do, I'll be shocked. I will do a video on it. I'll be absolutely shocked. But for everybody else who's been buying crates and are just sitting, farther and farther and waiting longer and longer, this just really sucks. And it didn't have to be this way. It really didn't have to be this way. I don't know with a lot of these crates, by the way, and Halo definitely fell into this. You just kind of run out of things to do, especially if you're doing monthly or bi-monthly. It's hard to come up with fun new stuff that somebody, quote-unquote, has to have. I could think of some really cool Fallout things where they show, like this particular one. If this was a crate for a month, this would be epic. I don't think this was all in one crate, but there's definitely themed things you can do within a game. You can pick major characters, you can pick certain levels, you can pick certain releases, because Fallout is spanned across multiple games at this point. That said, after a while, you just kind of run out of stuff to say and do, and the quality starts to go down, and people start comparing them to previous crates, and it's just kind of like a letdown. So I don't really know what's going to happen with Loot Crate. It's hard to say, and it's unfortunate that a company did have the magic formula picked out. They were a good company. Everybody I knew was getting Loot Crate. They definitely helped with a huge resurgence, in my opinion, on comic books, especially with all the Marvel movies coming out. You started seeing a lot of really good crates when it comes to, like Deadpool had a really good run, with the movie, and people started getting into his comics again, so they capitalized on that. The New 52 definitely received a bunch of love from this. So I feel like they've done a lot of good culturally, and it's definitely something that I think many of us, at least early adopters to Loot Crate, look back on fondly and say, yeah, those were good times, those were good crates. But I, like most people, canceled all of my crates over time, with the exception of the Halo one, because I was starting to get too many mugs, and I was starting to get too many bottle openers and letter openers, and I think that's where this whole thing starts to dilute. You can only slap a famous icon or logo on so many things before people just say, you know what, enough's enough. Especially when you're saturated, as this company did, and just didn't know when to stop. And I know for a while, I don't know if it was Loot Crate, because there were definitely starting to become a lot of spin-offs after a while. I'm not entirely sure if this was Loot Crate or not, but I remember they were doing a thing where they had like pet toys for a while. They also had another thing where they were doing betting for a while. So it just kind of turned into just like, what else can we throw in a box and send your way? And it just, I assume just poor sales over time kind of dissolved. They had all these kind of, agreements with all these companies. I mean, getting a Harry Potter licensed for merchandise probably wasn't an easy thing, and they probably had to sell a small portion of their soul to, capitalize on that agreement with Harry Potter. And, they were probably promising, look, we'll give you so much money up front. We're going to go out and find some discounted items, whatever. As people moved on, as customer service started to fall apart, the company and the whole business model absolutely imploded, and that's exactly why they filed for bankruptcy. So Loot Crate, if you're out there, if there's any remnants of Loot Crate, or if anybody's thinking about resurrecting Loot Crate, or the idea of a monthly or bi-monthly or annual loot service where you pay and you get some cool stuff with a little bit of gamble in there, I would just say this. Take your time, cultivate 2 or 3 really good crates that people are very excited for, and just enjoy the fact that you have a nice business platform with a nice steady stream of money. You don't have to sell a crate to everybody and your mother. You don't have to appease every small niche of pop culture fan bases out there, because this is what happens. Your company falls apart, and then people like me, who paid a lot of good money for stuff, get screwed. With that, I'd like to close out this video. I hope you guys found this informative. If you did, comment, rate, subscribe. Thanks so much. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.